I want to welcome everybody to the first of what I hope is the first annual Alzheimer's Research Day here at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. This is an exciting day for those of us who are part of the Alzheimer's Disease Research Center because we had this idea and we wanted to see if we could get people from across campus to come together to share their research and to learn more about the resources that are available and to do a little networking and a little learning. We are very, very fortunate to be at this university. Our campus is large and diverse and rich in resources and incredible intellectual and social capital. And so we were hoping as members of the Alzheimer's Disease Research Center that we could reach out to our campus community and to begin to learn more about all of the work that's going on across this wonderful institution. So I want to thank everybody for coming and for doing posters and for judging and all of the things that have happened to make this day possible. I guess I should say who I am. My name is Dorothy Edwards. I'm currently the chair of the Department of Kinesiology. I'm also part of the Department of Medicine. I'm an investigator in the Alzheimer's Disease Research Center and leader of the Minority Recruitment Corps. It was my harebrained idea to do this, so I get to do the introductions. But I'm thrilled at the turnout. We're really fortunate today to have our Provost, Paul DeLuca, here to give a few opening remarks. And I'm not going to go into a lot of history because he may mention it, but it's really important to know that we would not be sitting here today and we would not have the center that we have if it hadn't been for the incredible vision and support of Provost DeLuca. Before he was the provost, he was working in the background to make all of this happen, and we have the enviable reputation among the 30 national Alzheimer's disease research centers to actually have the best and most diverse support from our home institution in our state. It's one of the unique characteristics of our center is that we have more institutional support than any other center in the country. And I really lay that at the feet of Provost DeLuca because he certainly led the charge in getting things started. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Provost Paul DeLuca.
Thank you very much, Dorothy. I appreciate those kind remarks, and it's a pleasure to welcome you here. What I wish I could do is come back in 10 years and do this again, because I suspect we wouldn't fit in this room. I remember in the fog of time that Dorothy alluded to, before I was provost, I actually spent 10 years being vice dean at the med school, and we need to be clear on that. That's not dean of vice. That's the vice dean, okay. I have plenty of vices, but we don't need to call them out. So in any case, Sanjay, Dr. Asthana, came to me and said, I have a vision for Alzheimer's that's quite different than you might expect. And by the way, we need to get funded a P50 grant. And by the way, they're not funding those anymore. So we need to get that done. How are you going to help? And I was absolutely delighted to participate in that because Alzheimer's is one of the areas that this institution really has an opportunity to make progress in. We have virtually the full complement of infrastructure to address attacking these kind of problems. And they start, for example, in this case, as a serious, almost catastrophic medical issue, but the societal impacts, the environmental impacts, the governmental impacts associated with the cost and impact, the true cost in all its aspects of this kind of disease are really game-changing for a society. So you can't ignore it. You need a multidisciplinary approach. It has to go from the full physical, biological, all the way to the social sciences to really make progress in an area like this. This will not get cured with a pill. We have to attack this from an absolutely basis point of view. This day is terrific. This is the first of many. I'm sure it's going to be a wild success. And by the way, I want to welcome our guest speaker, Professor Ryman. It's lovely to have you here. It's not working again. How come you always come up here and give this to me?
It sounds better on me.
Does this sound better? Okay, thanks. It was a nice opportunity for us to chat. It turns out we We had a common set of people that we worked with back in the dark ages, mostly in the area of radionuclide production, particularly with positron emitters and the applications of those for diagnosis and ultimately treatment in a personalized medicine mode. So this is a terrific day. I hope you enjoy it. There's some wonderful talks that you'll be able to listen to, but more importantly, you'll be able to talk to each other now and then, and that's a great thing. So thank you very much, Dorothy.
You can come back in 10 years. I'm going to write that down. So it's my great pleasure to do a second introduction, another very, very important person to those of us in the Alzheimer's Disease Research Center, and in fact, across the campus. Dr. Richard Page is the George R. and Elaine Love Professor and Chair of the Department of Medicine in the School of Medicine and Public Health. And I can say again personally, because I've worked with Dr. Page, that he has a commitment to work across the campus, the entire campus, and he joins the medical school with other departments, and my department's in the School of Education, and he's been a tremendous supporter of research in my department in many, many ways. So we're really pleased to have him give us a few words, because the Department of Medicine is incredibly important to our Alzheimer's Disease Research Center. Dr. Page.
Thank you very much, Dorothy. I would hazard a guess I'm the only cardiologist in the room. And by way of introduction, I am a heart rhythm cardiology specialist, and my prior jobs were all in cardiology. And 4 years ago, I had really one of the great privileges of my life to be recruited by Provost DeLuca, then Vice Dean DeLuca, and Bob Golden to join this wonderful university and to join the Department of Medicine. I've told Sanjay before, as a cardiologist, I never knew I could get so excited about geriatrics and Alzheimer's disease, but over the years that has been the case. It's such a pleasure to work with Sanjay and learn more and relearn about the full breadth of medicine, but especially one area of great excellence and future promise is geriatrics and Alzheimer's disease. And it's a special pleasure that this wonderful ADRC if it was going to happen in any place in the country, and this is the only place in the country where an ADRC is housed in a geriatrics division, it's really a pleasure that this is part of our department. So I feel a special kindred to Sanjay and all the great people he has on his faculty. And as Dorothy mentioned, it is a group effort. It's a team effort. And speaking just globally, as Provost DeLuca mentioned, Alzheimer's disease is a plague that's only going to get worse and worse. And from a personal standpoint, having seen in my own family the ravages, I'm hoping you all are going to fix this problem. And if anybody can in the world, I think the progress can be made here. So for me, I wish I could spend the whole day. I get to spend part of my day with you all. I want to just extend my personal welcome and thanks for you to join us here today, and congratulations to Dorothy and Sanjay for putting this together. Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Sanjay Asthana, and on behalf of the ADRC, I really want to thank Provost DeLuca, Dr. Page, and Dr. Robert Golden, who's Dean of the Medical School, and Dr. Rick Moss, who's the Senior Associate Dean for Research at the Medical School. They both couldn't be here, but they'll be here later. And thank you as well for being here today and help us launch this inaugural Alzheimer's Research Day. And as Dr. Edwards mentioned, the mission of this day really is to bring together people like you of varied backgrounds and expertise and interests and discuss ways in which we could develop some collaborative research across the campus. As Dr. Page mentioned, this is one of the best institutions in this country, and as a small marker of that effort of this institution, as Provost DeLuca mentioned, Alzheimer's Center really is the result of amazing institutional support that we have received from the point the ADRC was launched in 2009 up till now, and moving forward for the next 5 years, which we recently learned that we will be renewed for another 5 years as a center. And I think this is just great testament and a reflection of the greatness of this university. So given that one of the missions of this day is to help you all talk to each other and with us, and think of developing interdisciplinary, outcomes-based, basic research, whatever your area of interest, in dementia research. To help you do that, I thought just for the next 4 or 5 minutes, I'll just give you an outline, an overview of the ADRC so that it gives you a sense what it is. And then Dr. Johnson later on in the afternoon is going to give you a few more details about the resources that the ADRC will provide you. So this ADRC, as I mentioned, it was funded in 2009. It's one of the 30 centers, but 27 of them are actively funded right now. And as Dr. Page mentioned, we happen to be, and very luckily, one of the first geriatric-based ADRC. And as you know, this is a team. It's a team of experts, investigators within the Department of Medicine, within the School of Medicine, throughout the campus, and in Milwaukee. So this ADRC brings together about 21 principal investigators from across this campus and in Milwaukee as well. And this is quite unique about our center being in geriatrics. It obviously provides extensive resources to conduct research in all aspects of Alzheimer's and related diseases. As I mentioned, it is created through collaboration, but I want to mention specifically the Wisconsin Alzheimer's Institute, which is led by Dr. Mark Sager. He and I originally, about 12 years ago, conceived the ADRC, and without Dr. Sager's and Wisconsin Alzheimer's Institute's partnership, this would not have been a reality. And that partnership is talked about locally and nationally, and how a successful model it has been now and moving forward. So special thanks to Dr. Sager and his team. In the country, there are 30 funded ADRC, but 20 ADCs, but 27 are active. And you'll see that most of them are either on the two coasts or the Midwest. But there is one right here in the Intermountain area, which is in Phoenix. And we are honored to have Dr. Eric Ryman, our chief guest, to give the keynote speaker, who is director of the Phoenix Alzheimer's Center. And I really mean it, not just because he's here. I think it is perhaps one of the best, if not the best, Alzheimer's centers in the country. You're going to hear from him all the amazing things they've done in Phoenix. This is just a structure of our ADRC here. Without going into any detail, Dr. Johnson will touch base with you about it a bit more. But we have about 7 cores in the ADRC. And the clinical core is the one which will be led by Dr. Carlson. It really provides extensive clinical data, cognitive data, physical exam data, all kinds of examinations and biospecimens on patients who have either Alzheimer's or they are healthy control or they have a family history. There are about 6 different cohorts of over 500 people who are in this core. In the next 5 years, that number will go to 1,000 people in the Alzheimer's Center. You can imagine how rich that database will be. Then there is a data management and statistics and informatics core, which has done amazing work in the last 4 years and going to expand it in the next cycle. We have a neuropathology core, which has a number of services, and it has a very successful brain bank. We have postmortem autopsy tissue and patients with Alzheimer's, healthy controls, and others. And also there is an amazing CSF, cerebrospinal fluid collection core, which is led by Dr. Carlson. I know she's here in the crowd, and Dr. Carlson has done over 1,000 lumbar punctures. If you ever need any help, she's here out for you. And really, CSF is an amazing resource for doing research. And then we have the education core, which works very closely with the Wisconsin Alzheimer's Institute and teaches dementia and Alzheimer's to lay public, to community of color and across the state, and also physicians and healthcare providers about this disease. Very, very critical, and Dr. Edwards leads that core. And we have a very special core which is focused on people of color. We want to focus on health disparity in dementia, and Dr. Edwards and Dr. Carrie Gleason, who is here as well, who is very involved with this core. And finally, the imaging core, which is a new core that Dr. Sterling Johnson leads. It is internationally recognized, and it does all kinds of imaging research as it relates to dementia and other functions of the brain. this is the last slide to show you that through Wisconsin ADRC, you will have access to amazing substantial resources of various national and international programs. So just to name one, there is something known as the National Alzheimer's Coordinating Center, or NAC, which is based at University of Washington, and all the Alzheimer's centers in the country, there are 27, feed their data into NAC. And you can approach NAC through any ADRC or yourself as well and collect data from them and do any kind of research you want. I mean, there are now about 33,000 patients data, I believe, in NAC. Eric, am I right? Somewhere in that range. And about 10,000 or so brain tissues that you can do research on. This is a cell repository which collects DNA samples from 27 ADCs in the country, and you can do all kinds of studies, including GWAS. This is an international registry which gives you NIA, and Alzheimer's Station has funded it. It has list of all the Alzheimer's related studies going throughout the world, not just in the US or Europe, but actually beyond. So this is a highly rich database. And then, of course, we have a number of international collaborations and other collaborations. So through this, you can have access to extensive resources for the kind of research you want to do. So here's the summary. I think this is a great resource, a result of amazing collaborations between the institution, between the state of Wisconsin, and you all and investigators. And I think the future is so bright. And I thank you all for being here. And I hope that we can work with you all to eventually win this very devastating disease. Thank you.